He told me he told him to leave. Narn told me, he said he could spend the night. He had to be out at 8 in the morning. Why would he? Doesn't make any sense. Because we all agreed. Janardhan, our first one told me went up and.
Well, Janardhan said that he slept on the couch in front of the Christian lounge Sunday night. He said, well, the guy's just going to sleep on the couch again, so I'm just going to let him stay in the lounge. That's what he said. I agree. And we need to make sure he gets out of here, too, by 8.
Who makes those?
Suki makes a breakdown, but they're working.
Is he coming back to make more, or is that the
I
totality?
think that's supposed to be our week supply.
Oh,
that amazing now.
I think I have a new metal cup. I'm going to go check.
Oh, good.
Plus the coconut water.
Yeah, he just came up from being a cup. Said, here, drink this. Got some clout, huh?
Yeah. Big class.
Do you want to play the dunga? You want me to play the dunga?
I don't know.
Do your hands a rest?
Yeah, that's what we did.
Oh, watch out for the foot. Watch out for the foot.
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjano Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjano Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjano Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjano Yamuna Tira Nachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Sri Sri Radha Madhava ki Sri Sri Radha Damodar ki Sri Sri Radha Giridhari ki Gaur Jayo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajika Jaja Shodhara Shishimad is the Grace by Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Jayo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajika Jaja Shodhara Shishimad is Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosa Maharaj Bhupari ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Bhupari ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai Prem Jagaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashati Gaura Bhakti ki Jai Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Shri Dhamodar Bhatta ki Jai Gaur Premanandi all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
All glories to Sri Guru.
Vashnavaraya Krishna Stavale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Gauravani Pachadani Nivashesha Shanyavari Vasyadhyadish Mahaprasad Govinde. Can't depend upon the ghost of Dravida to do it every day. So we have the Srimad Bhagavatam this morning, and also I brought a book called the Kartik Mahatmya. And we can read a little bit about different benefits of this month of Kartik.
Who wrote that book?
It's actually it's translated, it's taken from the Hari Bhakti Vilas. So I guess you could say it was compiled by Sanatana Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami. There's different select verses taken from the Hari Bhakti Vilas, and that's different verses from different things like Padma Purana. They quote different. They're pulling different verses from different Vedic literatures, because the Hari Bhakti Vilas was in response to Smarta Brahmins saying that Vaishnavas are a bunch of sentimentalists and everything they're doing has no foundation in scripture. So Sanatana Goswami compiled a voluminous book showing that actually our Vaishnava Vidya is rooted in so much scripture and so on. Of course, Prabhupada said there's so many rules and regulations we don't really follow. It's impossible to follow those in this age of Kali. But it's all there. So now, yesterday this verse was spoken on. Srila Prabhupada, apparently. That was the verse that they picked yesterday for class. Who was here in class yesterday? You weren't here in class? How did I go yesterday? How did your carrot soup turn out?
It was good. I liked it.
Were you the only one who liked it?
I don't think there's only 2 devotees of breakfast. Janardhan said he liked it.
Okay.
I don't think, there's only 2 devotees.
So it was good. You can see, you can add.
It was all gone thing.
Okay, that's a good sign. If it's all there by the end of the day, you know something's wrong. But if it's all gone by the end of the day, good. It's a nice recipe, right? How was the zucchini bread?
I actually didn't try the zucchini.
Did anyone try the zucchini bread?
Janardhan had a lot of it.
By Trey?
Okay.
His new juice diet? Okay, were you in class yesterday?
No.
Were you in class yesterday?
My body was.
Oh, okay. Just wonder if you remembered any highlights in Prabhupada's class on this particular verse we're speaking on from today. Okay. So no one can say they're bored, they've already heard it, they've already heard everything, and like that. Whatever I say is just like useless because you all heard it from Prabhupada yesterday.
My ears heard it, I don't think my mind heard it.
Okay, so reading from, this is the 3rd canto, 26th chapter, text 31. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jamudirayat. So this is continuing the Sankhya philosophy, counting the different elements in this material world, arriving at our identity being different from all of them, but understanding what they are and how we interact with them. So this is the text. Taijasānindriyānyeva kriya jnana vibhagasaha pranasya hi kriya shaktir buddhir vijnana shaktita Taijasānindriyānyeva kriya jnana vibhagasaha pranasya hi kriya shaktir buddhir vijnana shaktita Taijasānindriyānyeva Kriya Jnanam Vibhagashaha
Kriya Jnana Vibhagashaha
Pranasya hi Kriya Shaktir
Pranasya hi Kriya Shaktir
Buddhir Vijnana Shaktita.
Buddhir Vijnana Shaktika.
Anyone like to chant? Senior to junior. Initiated first. Daijasan Indriyanyeva Kriya Jnana Vibhagasaha Pranasya hi Kriya Shaktir Buddhir Vijnana Shaktita. Taijasan Indriyanyeva Kriya Jnana Vibhagasaha.
The word jnana, I've heard there's different ways to pronounce it.
Yes.
That was Jnana.
So we say gyan, is that like a Bengalijized way of saying it?
Prabhupada would say Gyan, but there's another Yan or something like that. Yeah, sometimes scholars will say it in different ways.
You can even say it jnana.
Yeah, that's it. They say Janana. Yeah, that's it. You hear sometimes.
Pranasya hi kriya shaktir.
Pranasya hi Kriya Shaktir
Buddhir vijnana shaktita.
Buddhir Vijnana Shaktita.
Tajya Sandrindiyaneva
Taijasan Indriyanyeva
Kriya Jnana Vibhagasaha
Kriya Jnana Vibhagashaha
Pranayasya hi Kriya Shaktir
Pranasya hi Kriya Shaktir
Buddhir Vijnana Shaktika.
Buddhir Vijnana Shaktita.
Now the most fallen materialistic person. By the mercy of the
You're not the most of anything. Just chant.
Well, we sing here. By the mercy of the Guru, the dumb to speak eloquently, right? Let's see.
Tajasan Indriyanyeva
Kriya Janana Vibhagashaha.
Jnana Jnana Vibhagasaha
Pranyasahi Kriya Shaktir.
Pranasya hi Kriya Shaktir
Buddhir Vijanana Shaktitata.
Buddhir Vijnana Shaktita. Word for word, or synonyms. Taijasani,
Tajasani.
produced from egoism and the mode of passion.
Produced from egoism and the mode of passion.
Indriyani,
Indriyani.
the senses. Eva, certainly. Kriya,
Kriya.
action.
Action.
Jnana,
Jnana.
knowledge. Vibhagasaha,
Vibhagasaha.
according to
According to
pranasya,
Pranasya
of the vital energy.
of the vital energy.
He, indeed, Kriya Shakti,
Kriya Shakti.
the senses of action.
Senses of action.
Buddhe,
Buddhe.
of the intelligence.
The intelligence.
Vijnana Shaktita,
Jnana Shaktita.
of the senses for acquiring knowledge.
Senses for acquiring knowledge.
So we're talking about two kinds of senses in this verse. Translation. Egoism in the mode of passion produces two kinds of senses. The senses for acquiring knowledge and the senses of action. The senses of action depend on the vital energy, and the senses for acquiring knowledge depend on intelligence. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It has been explained in the previous verses that mind is the product of ego and goodness, and that the function of the mind is acceptance and rejection according to desire. But here intelligence is said to be the product of ego and passion. That is the distinction between mind and intelligence. Mind is a product of egoism and goodness, and intelligence is a product of egoism and passion. The desire to accept something and reject something is a very important factor of the mind. Since mind is a product of the mode of goodness, if it is fixed up upon the Lord of the mind, Aniruddha, then the mind can be changed to Krishna consciousness. It is stated by Narottam Das Thakur that we always have desires. Desire cannot be stopped. But if we transfer our desires to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is the perfection of life. As soon as the desire is transferred to lording it over material nature, it becomes contaminated by matter. Desire has to be purified. In the beginning, this purification process has to be carried out by the order of the spiritual master, since the spiritual master knows how the disciples' desires can be transformed into Krishna consciousness. And plus, we're not on the spontaneous platform. We default automatically to lording it over the material nature. Just automatic. And without even a thought. So, that's why. Vaidhi Bhakti means following the rules and regulations, because we're just not accustomed to thinking in the proper way. As far as intelligence is concerned, it is clearly stated here that it is a product of egoism and passion. By practice, one comes to the point of the mode of goodness, and by surrendering or fixing the mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes a very great personality or Mahatma. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said, Sa Mahatma Sadulabha. Such a great soul is very rare. That's a Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanamam Papajante Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sadulabha. Like that. After Bahunam Janmanam Ante, after many, many births, one understands Vasudevam Sarvam Iti, that Krishna is everything. And such a great soul is very rare. But it takes quite some time to come to that realization. But we don't know where we are in that continuum. This could be our life. This could be your lucky life, Prabhu. This could be the one. Or this could be the first one in the Bahunam Janmana Ante. It could be the first of it, and you got a few more to go. We don't know. In this verse, it is clear that both kinds of senses, the senses for acquiring knowledge and the senses for action, are products of egoism in the mode of passion. So what are we talking about here? What are the senses for acquiring knowledge? Do you know? Yeah. You acquire knowledge from seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. That's how we acquire knowledge of the world around outside of us, right? Now, how about the senses of action?
The anus, the genitals.
Look at the arms and legs, right? Don't you have that? Isn't that action?
And speech.
Speech, like that. They're acting, like that. So, mode of passion. Because the point is, passion means you want to do something. Until the mode of passion gets mixed in, you're just not, well, that's Prabhupada explains here in the purport about passionate, what passion does. And because the sense organs for activity and for acquiring knowledge require energy, the vital energy or life energy is also produced by egoism in the mode of passion. What is it? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, you can't be a preacher unless you have life, that energy. That. We can actually see, therefore, that those who are very passionate can improve in material acquisition very quickly. So that is the characteristic of Western society in comparison to other parts. Of course, now everyone's following suit, but the Westerners are known to be very, very passionate. Of course, that comes with the downside, too. Mode of passion results in suffering. So they do all these things. It's like a monkey. Monkey is foolish and active. What does that mean, Damodar? Foolish, active. Do you know? Do you know?
Acting with no intelligence, acting with no plan of what it's doing.
Yeah, like a monkey. If we open the door here and let a few monkeys in here, what do you think the place would look like in a little while? They'd be swinging from the chandeliers, pooping everywhere, screaming and yelling, ripping up the Vyasasan, and right? They're just monkeys. Right? They're very active, but they're very foolish. There's no intelligence behind their action like that. It's very dangerous.
I'm confused by that one thing. They usually say that the mode of passion results in suffering, but shouldn't the mode of ignorance result in more suffering?
It's suffering from beginning to end. See, the mode of passion is happiness in the beginning, and then it turns to suffering, whereas ignorance is suffering from beginning to end. So you're right in your observation. It's just dullness and suffering, from beginning to end. There's nothing there. At least passion, you think, hey, I'm going to have a good time. And then, wow, because it is not. Whereas goodness, actually, sometimes it's suffering in the beginning, some austerity, but then it leads to, So Prabhupada's saying here, the Western are known for very, very passionate. Okay. It is recommended in the Vedic scriptures that if one wants to encourage a person in acquiring material possessions, one should also encourage him in sex life. That's why all the advertisements, right? These beautiful women and things like that. We naturally, even if you sell a toilet or something, you got some beautiful woman flushing a toilet. Oh, look how nice my toilet flushes. We naturally find that those who are addicted to sex life are also materially advanced, because sex life or passionate life is the impetus for material advancement of civilization. Prabhupada makes this point. There's a famous economist, when he went to college, I guess he's still around, but the family unit is the basic principle of economy. People work very, very hard for their family. In fact, in jobs, the higher people, someone who's married, they know they can get more miles out of that person because he has some obligation to work for his family. He'll stick around longer, right? Whereas someone who's single, take it or leave it. But someone who's married, he can't do that. He's got to pay the bills every single month, and his wife and his kids and so on. So it's a basis of economic development, is sex life and the products of sex life. Griyaksheta sutapta vitar. Home, family, friends, kids, everything like that. For those who want to make spiritual advancement, there is almost no existence of the mode of passion. Only the mode of goodness is prominent. We find that those who engage in Krishna consciousness are materially poor. You ever experienced that? But one who has eyes can see who is the greater. Although he appears to be materially poor, a person in Krishna consciousness is not actually a poor man, but the person who has no taste, there's a typo here, for Krishna consciousness and appears to be very happy with material possessions is actually poor. Persons infatuated by material consciousness are very intelligent in discovering things from material comforts, but they have no access to understanding the spirit, soul, and spiritual life. It's a different kind of intelligence. Therefore, if anyone wants to advance in spiritual life, he has to come back to the platform of purified desire. The purified desire for devotional service is stated in the Narada Pancharatra. Engagement in the service of the Lord when the senses are purified in Krishna consciousness is called pure devotions. Bhakti Uchyate. That's that verse. Sarvopadi vinirmuktvam tatpatena nirmalam rishikena hishikesha sevanam. Like that. One becomes free from all false designation, engages the senses, purified senses, in the service of the master of the senses. That is known as pure devotional service. Om Agyanti Mirandasya Gyananjana Silakaya Chaksurunminitam Dena Taismai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So there's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, introspective sage, right? That's referred to something. Introspective sage. One who's intelligent has to be introspective. So intro means what? Intro. No. Well, that's intro. Yeah, well, introduction, but intro. Within, right? Introduction. Well, inspect, like inspect or spectacles, what does it mean? Seeing. Right, so introspective means one who's seeing within, like that. That's the difference. We're all seeing something, but as referred to here, the materialists, they're very expert at seeing everything outside themselves and manipulating it, thinking that will make me happy, whereas an intelligent person becomes introspective, looking within. Trying to understand who, because this whole chapter here about Sankhya philosophy is all these things are external and they're not me. I'm not my body. I'm not these five. What is the body? It's the five senses of action. I'm not the five senses of acquiring knowledge. I'm utilizing these things, right? I'm not the ego. That's very subtle. I identify with this body. And you try to think, you can't actually. The mind can't do that. In the intelligence, because the ego is even more subtle. It's very, very difficult to contemplate these things deeply, because it's very, very subtle. But even false ego, the identification with this body, I and mine, aham mameti, it's very, very subtle. Realization of these things has to come by the grace of Guru and Krishna. the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord in the heart. And Krishna says he will do that. Te sam, what is that verse? Te sam ham, well, there's te sam satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam. The dami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. There's that. For one who's always engaged in my devotional service, I give them the dami buddhi yogam tam. I give them all the buddhi intelligence they need to approach me. So where does that intelligence come from? And Krishna says it comes from me. And who gets it? Those who te sam satata yuktanam. Those who are always engaged in my devotional service. Krishna says, I'll give you all the intelligence you need. Like that. I, dwelling within the heart, destroy with a shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So Krishna is the one who enlightens us that we are not this body, we're not this mind, we have nothing to do with this material world, we're spirit souls, and we're eternal servants of the Lord. That's a gift from Krishna. Krishna loves giving gifts. Right? Why? Because it's better to give than to receive. Like that. Krishna loves giving his devotees gifts. Like that. He reciprocates. And that's the greatest reciprocation. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti. I give you everything you need to come back home, back to Godhead. All we have to do is desire it. That's the first paragraph of the purport. Prabhu was talking about desire. It's just purifying it. Just like Narantara, that class he gave on Sunday night, he was talking about that. The idea that desire, we can become desireless. No. You can become free from material desires, but we can't become desireless because that is a symptom of consciousness. Like that. I really feel sorry for the Buddhists trying to do that. It's very difficult. I really wonder what happens to them. You imagine sitting here every morning and your meditation has become desireless? That's why you see these pictures of their ashram. They sit in these rows facing each other. You seen this? On the seats meditating in the morning. And then the guru walks up and down handing a bamboo stick. You think you have trouble in japa. Imagine trying to think of nothing. Like that. I'll give you something to think about. Like that. So it's not easy. Even Krishna says in the Gita, what is that? Klesha didikras tesham avyakta sakta chetasam. This path is very, very difficult. The avyakta path of impersonalism, because it goes against our nature. It's it's very difficult. Almost it's actually impossible ultimately. And that's why ultimately we fall down. It's a vimukti manina, Krishna says. Lord Brahma says in the Bhagavatam, vimukti manama, you think you're liberated. Oh, I've reached this platform where I have no desires. Like that. I have no desires. I'm desireless. Then you fall down. Because it's artificial. It's artificial. It's like holding your breath. How long can you hold your breath? And there's probably world records, like a minute or 2 or 3 or something like that. But it's artificial. Sooner or later you go, ah! Take a breath, right? It's artificial. So I can hold my breath. But how long can you do it? It's artificial. So how long can you adjust some type of a consciousness where you think you're desireless? It's impossible. Like that. So it's all based upon desire. It can't be stopped. But if one transfer our desires to please the Lord, that's the perfection of life. And Krishna helps those who help themselves, because that's where it ultimately comes from. It's Krishna's mercy and kindness. So, boy, it's already 25. And then the second part of the purport's all about passion and goodness. Here's a good point. Well, so Prabhupada's saying here, passionate, these people are very passionate and therefore devotees, and that's the basis of material life is mode of passion. All this stuff that people are doing, they're very, very passionate, do this, do that, do this, do that. And therefore devotees should be in the mode of goodness. Does that mean we don't do anything? So how do we reconcile that? That's a good question devotees come up with. Well, is this mode of passion? Hey, Prabhu, you're really in the mode of passion here. You want me to go on SanDiego? That's kind of passionate. You want me to wash pots? I don't want to be so passionate. You want me to cook an offering? I don't want to be so passionate. Do you want to have prasadam? Yeah, that's okay. I'll take prasadam. Give me another plate. But how do we reconcile enthusiasm? What is it? Are we in purified passion? What is it? Arjuna was on the battlefield. Now, is that passionate or is that passionate? Fighting a war all day long, like swinging a sword and shooting arrows and watching out for getting killed and everything. That's pretty passionate, isn't it? So Hanuman, right? When he flew to Lanka, he beat the you-know-what out of the Rakshasas and lit the whole place on fire. Now, is that passion? Or is that goodness? What is it? What's your understanding? That's exactly true. That's exactly true. In other words, the soul's, what we're referring to here, the danger is the material mode of passion. It's not activity. Nothing wrong with that. The soul is active. Like that. So, goodness doesn't mean laziness, like you brought up before about the modes. Inactivity is not goodness. Inactivity is what mode? Tamas, like that. Hey, Prabhu, I can't do anything today. Like that. So, mode of goodness doesn't mean inactivity. So devotees are actually, Prabhupada would some many times say, we're more active than the materialist. Right? From 4 in the morning until, what is he always right? 10 at night. Prabhupada says, there's always something going on in the temple. Like that. From 4 in the morning to 10 at night. Devotees are very, very active. Like that. More active than the materialist. But they're active in the Lord's service. Like that. Enthusiastically engaged in the Lord's devotional service. So that enthusiasm, which is known in Sanskrit as utsaha, like that enthusiasm, that's something generated from one's Krishna consciousness. You can't be enthusiastic about something you don't really like, right? So the more you like something, you become very, very enthusiastic. The acharyas give the example, just like young boys and girls are very enthusiastic to be with each other. So many acharyas, they pray, I wish the same enthusiasm that young boys and girls have for each other, I wish I had that same enthusiasm for you, my dear Lord. Right? You don't have to do anything. Right? It's just automatically there. One becomes attracted and one's whole life becomes adjusted and all you can think about and want to be is like that. It's so enthusiastic. Like that. So people say, there's a problem with my son, there's a problem with my daughter, they need a boyfriend, they need a girlfriend. They'll solve all their problems. Right? That's what you need. Jack, you need a girlfriend, right? All this crazy stuff from my parents. You need a girlfriend. So as soon as you have that attraction, then it's automatic, it's spontaneous. No one has to teach you anything or whatever, it's just spontaneous. So the acharyas are praying, just like in this material world, boys are so attracted to girls are so, just that spontaneous attraction and enthusiasm. You'll do anything, go anywhere, you're so happy to be doing that. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we had that same enthusiasm and attraction for Krishna? And we do, and much more. Because how is it the great devotees can just turn completely away from this mundane attraction? It becomes insignificant. Like that. And actually it becomes not just insignificant, but distasteful. Why? Because it represents a distraction to Krishna consciousness. Anything that's distracting our Krishna consciousness, we know we're becoming advanced because we just don't like it. Just don't like it. Like that. We just don't like it. It's just not part of our program. So, yes, it's not that the devotees are in mode of goodness, therefore they don't do anything. They're very active in the mode of goodness. But it's a different type of activity, that's all. It's not for, and that's why people just sometimes used to be very critical of, and probably still are, but not so much anymore because India is becoming very materially advanced, at least more than it was 30, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. But that was a criticism of India in the East. All these lazy Joes, or lazy Kumars, or whatever you call it, lazy people, right? This fatalism, laziness, they can't get anything done. They're not interested in, when the British came there, the building of railroads and this and that. And even the people in India became very enamored. Look at all these things they're doing. For thousands and thousands of years, we weren't doing any of this. Well, that was the point. You had enough intelligence not to. Right, there's a story there about Mayadanava being rescued by Arjuna and Krishna in that forest. What is it? Khandava forest or whatever. And he was rescued before it was burned up by Agni. And he said, I'd like to give you a benediction. I'd like to give you yantra vidya. You know what yantra vidya is? It's the knowledge of machinery, how to make machines and so on. And Krishna said, turn it down. Don't take it. And that's his mode of passion. So he's building all these machines for all kinds of stuff like that. So the glory of Vedic culture was they kept things very, very simple. A nice agrarian society, just perpetual. The economy was perpetual. People were very peaceful. Agrarian society. There was that famous British poet who said that cities like that are made by man and the country's made by God. Cooper or something like that. And just like it says, Prabhu would quote sometimes that there's a verse about countries in the mode of goodness, right? Cities in the mode of passion, and what's in the mode of ignorance? Your room, brahmacharya ashram. That's a new twist on it. Could be true though. He said brothels and drinking like that. That's kind of the mode of ignorance, like that. So the modes are very prominent in these places. So that's why Vedic culture, and you can see even the architecture was quite beautiful, right? Very beautiful architecture and so on. Very, very pleasing to keep people's minds in a higher mode of nature. And things are organized in such a way. But it's quite interesting that it's not that we're lazy fellows. It says until the British got into India, over 90% of the worldwide trade was coming out of India. The Roman Empire was almost bankrupt with their trading with India. You know why? They wanted all this stuff from India, but they had nothing to trade. India didn't want their olive oil. They already had ghee, pizza, and whatever. So they had to buy everything. It was just gold. Many countries would trade, silks for this or that. Rome had nothing to give except gold. And they depleted their treasury with all their trading with India because they had to buy it. There was nothing that India really wanted from them. I have a dhoti, I don't need a toga. Whatever they wore, they just didn't need it. Right? So how is it that all these people are lazy spiritualists, and they're not over 90% of all the international trade was coming out of India? Why? What was Columbus? Yesterday was Columbus Day. What was he looking for? Sabara's pizza?
So people are ready to pillage their towns, I guess?
Well, yes. But he was looking for India, right? He was trying to, because the middlemen were the Arabs. You had to go across land, all the caravans, and they took a cut from everything coming out before it got to Europe. So they think, well, if we somehow figure out how to get to India without having to go over land, just think of all the wealth we would have. So he was thinking like that. So if we just sail that way, maybe we'll come to India, and then we just we don't have to go through all those Islamic countries, and they take so much, and it's such a big risk, like that. That was what he was looking for, India. Everyone was looking for India, like that. All these trade routes and everything like that. Why is so much wealth there? So much wealth. And why did the Muslims ransack the place for 700-800 years, 1,000 years? Right? You know, it started with pirates. That's what started it in Gujarat. Islamic Muslim pirates were coming in, very, very ferocious groups of sailing pirates. They came and ransacked Gujarat a few times, and then the Muslim government said, hey, this looks like a good thing. So then they moved in. But it actually began with pirates coming into India. And like 700-800,000 years, they just ransacked the place. And then the British came in and ransacked whatever was left. All that wealth. You don't go in and ransack a country if it's poor. Like that. You don't see anyone like going into Uganda like that, or Somalia, or these countries, Chad. You don't hear these places because they're just dustbins in Africa, right? Chad. You ever hear of Chad? Like, what does that have to do with Chad? Is that what it's called? Chad? Chat or Chad? This is C-H-A-D. Read a chapter a day? Okay. I'm talking about the country. You don't hear about it. There's nothing there. So it's amazing, almost 1,800 years of ransacking. That's a lot of time to pull stuff out of a country. The British Empire was actually funded by everything they took out of India. The whole Industrial Revolution in England was funded from what they ransacked out of India. If there wasn't any India there would have been no Industrial Revolution. And the soldiers and everything they sent all over the world, they're Indians. The Gurkhas and all those people. I mean, it's unbelievable. So this idea, oh, India's a lazy